University District as students, faculty, staff, and professors have gathered to fight the education budget cuts.
UW students have recently faced a 14% increase in tuition, while public funding has been cut by 26%.
This is part of the National March 4th Day of Action in Public Education. There are events happening throughout the whole nation right now.
Berkeley, UC San Diego, Santa Cruz.
We're basically saying, Mark Emmert, the way you do budget cuts right now is unacceptable and disproportionately hurting like lower income folks, people of color, queer folks, and students with disabilities and women.
Whose university? Our university! Whose university? Our university!
I'd like to see President Emmert resign. I'd like to see the legislature have the guts to stand up and say that education is a priority, as our state constitution says.
Well, my hope to come of this is that we put a lot of pressure on the state legislature and the governor to convince them that we need a graduated income tax to tax the rich in the state.
And so we're saying, please reallocate your budget to cut from the top, not from the most vulnerable population in our campus.
I'm a person of color and I come from an immigrant family, so my family gets paid really low wages for the work that they're doing, and so they can't afford to send me to this university compared if my parents made like $100,000 a year. It would be easy for me to come here, but my parents don't. They barely even make half of that.
We can send a message to other students that they're not alone in their struggles, because this is an issue affecting many people, and if these budget cuts go through, a lot of people aren't going to be able to go to college.
We want to send a message to the administration and to Olympia that budget cuts are unacceptable and that public education needs to be a priority.
They cannot just increase tuition. They need to take into account all the possible ways that they can provide affordable education for people in college today.
I think it needs to start here because the administrators have been using the budget cuts as an excuse to implement privatization at this school. So I'd say privatization needs to stop. There needs to be priority on UW as a public education.
Education is a right, and it shouldn't be restricted to people who can pay for it.
Education should be our priority because a lot of education is where a lot of things change and where a lot of students will come and go in the workspace, and that's how we can generate jobs, is through students graduating and having that access to work, go in the work field. So if we deny students access, then that's going to affect the economic crisis further.
Steve Wedland, who owns my favorite deli on the corner of Brooklyn and 45th, offered up a bystander's perspective.
I think it's one of the top priorities, especially for people in this state. We believe in education here. I'd say cut the waste. There's a lot of waste. Whenever you got government, you got a lot of waste. Cut the waste and you'll have more money for the stuff that's needed.
The university has laid off 550 employees, which has forced grad students to teach larger classes and janitors to work longer shifts. In his official response to the rally, UW President Mark Emmert commended the passion that went into this, but followed up by writing, "I do not believe attempts to put a stop to the work of the university will accomplish very much. Rather, it will hamper and inhibit the educational process, which is, of course, the reason students come here." Not all students agreed with the budget rally either. Some members from the UW's chapter of Young Americans for Liberty were also out explaining why this is the wrong approach to the problem.
Demands made by the socialist group are ineffective, and they're actually going to harm our university more than help it. We don't necessarily disagree with the fact that the budget cuts are wrong, but we have different solutions that we're trying to put forward.
We agree with the ends, as in we don't want tuition to be raised, but absolutely do not agree with the means. Most of the means by which they want to lower tuition or keep tuition from being raised will absolutely just destroy our quality of education or simply not work at all.
What they're asking for is putting salary caps on administrators, and that sounds great, in stage one in theory, but the truth is if basic analysis of economics would suggest that anyone who's capable of earning more than that amount, anyone who we value higher than that, is just going to leave.
You can't expect to cap a teacher's salary and still have a good university.
What we're advocating for is more of a free market solution, bring the dollars inside the school, form of privatization.
So as you can see, students have really raised the bar on the issue and want to get the message across that they will not be ignored. Tarik Walmsley reporting.